Hello vegan adventurers, welcome to an exciting vlog from Andalusia, Spain. Today we're gonna do an epic hiking loop to Pico del Cielo peak in Sierra Tejedas mountains. Pico del Cielo is pretty high, 1508 meters, and it takes 1200 meters elevation from this parking lot near the town of Nerja, located near the coastline. And we want to do a loop following the Wikiloc app navigation, which other people uploaded, and it should be around 15 kilometers around with a 1200 meters elevation. Let's do it! For the first kilometer or so, we are following this bigger dirt road, but you can't go here with the car because there is this chain across the road. Then we see the path is following the ridgeline around here and then starts ascending steep from the valley over there. A few minutes we got to the crossroad where the single trail starts, cutting through the forest. And in a few minutes, ascending on the single trail, we got back to the main road. Here we are getting view of other peaks of Sierra Tejeda mountains, which might be good to hike in the future. As we are ascending higher, we are getting the first views of the sea. Here we got to a little crossroad, so this main road keeps going straight and follows the ridgeline, the way to the Pico del Cielo over here. But we're gonna try to check out this little viewpoint, which will be only 100 meters on the right. So this viewpoint is definitely worth checking out on the way to Pico del Cielo because you can get these amazing photos with this scenic background. Alright, we are back following the main road and we met this couple from Sweden who also want to make it to the peak. So it's interesting that we're getting higher and the road is getting better. It will be definitely possible to go here with a car and save all this hiking time. And over here you can see the concrete road is finishing and we have this dirt road, but it's not good for car. The water got into it too much. There is a really deep hole. Maybe good enough for a tractor or a good jeep. When you're following the Wikiloc app, sometimes it leads you to places like this where there was just a abandoned house, so they probably just checked out that road, but there was nothing special here and we just wasted time. And over here we got till the end of this bigger dirt road, and here is the sign Sendero Pico del Cielo. So from here we're gonna follow a single trail all the way up. So till this point we already did half a distance because it was not so steep, but from this point we're gonna do much of the elevation because it's gonna be much steeper. And over here we can see this animal called ibex that looks like a goat with the big horns, and I think they are endangered here. If you try to look online on information about ibex in Spain, you get to see the websites that promote trophy hunting. Spanish people again got sold out and they would rather get money than protect the animals. And over here you can see the place where we started with a single trail. So actually if the dirt road was in better conditions, you could park your car all the way there, which would cut you 1 hour of hiking one way. And as we're getting higher, we are getting more epic views of Sierra Tejeda mountains and also the Mediterranean coastline. Checking the GPS maps, we have around 2.6 kilometers till the peak, with around 550 meters of elevation, so that's pretty steep. So we should be up around 3:15 p.m. So I just checked on maps.me. We're around 530 meters of elevation, which is if it's really fast pace, should take about an hour. We did that before on Ecuador on Fuya mountain, but normally maybe an hour and a half, something like 1 hour 20 minutes. Yeah. So this single trail is much harder to hike than the bigger road. It's much steeper and also exposed to the sun because there's only bushes and very little trees compared to the bigger road that we did down there, which was many more trees with not so much elevation. The couple from Sweden that we met earlier probably turned back because I don't see them on the spots in the distance, and they are probably not even prepared. They didn't have even backpacks or much water with them. And here in the distance you can see the highest peak of Sierra Tejeda mountains, La Maroma, 2069 meters, that we also saw in a hike to El Saltillo waterfall. And from here it shows we have about 2 more kilometers till the peak with around 420 meters elevation. So it should take another hour, so we should be there around 3:15 to have lunch on the top. And here we got to another amazing viewpoint, and we also saw some more people descending down from the peak. And over here we're getting really close to the peak, but you can see we have a really steep path leading to the top. And at this point we have 331 meters elevation with 1.5 kilometers to go to the peak over there. Getting closer, we see there is a little peak we have to go around to reach the top. So it's 2:36 and we still have around 300 meters of elevation, so I don't think there is a way to make it before 3 p.m. but we'll try to make it before 3:15.
Which is still gonna be under 3 hours for the total ascent time from the beginning, and I will try to push this last part harder.
So checking the maps.me GPS, we have around 600 meters of distance with around 200 meters of elevation. So we have to be really fast paced to make it under 20 minutes till the top. So it's great that we have a motivation to push ourselves, kind of playing the game to make it before 3 o'clock. But we still have to be rational and save our energy for the long 7.5 kilometer descent. So as you can see, now we're getting to the steepest part before the top. And here we see some guy waving on the top, not sure if he needs help or he's just doing it for fun. So now the time is 2:50 and I just checked the GPS. We have only 360 meters to go with 120 meters of elevation, which is really steep. And we see that the path goes around on the ridgeline till the top over here. So it's 2:55, but I'm not sure if we can make it before 3 o'clock because we still have quite a bit to go and it's very steep, but it's gonna be really close. Let's do this. Alright, here we go. We are getting up to the top of Pico del Cielo, 1,508 meters, and at the same time we're getting the view of the other side that we haven't seen before. So it's about 3:05, so we haven't made it before 3 o'clock, but it doesn't really matter. It's still a really good time, under 3 hours for the total ascent time. And especially impressive was the motivation of Sanja, who pushed it under 3 hours, especially the effort at the end. Good job na korutko. As it's really windy up here, we are looking for some place with less wind and we found this little rock shelter. Now we're gonna have our vegan lunch and then we're gonna take some photos and videos of this amazing view of Costa del Sol. And here we can see there are some clouds gathering, so we don't want to get caught up in the rain. But there is more hiking paths over here straight through these hills, so you can do even bigger loops around these mountains. Right, it's 3:40 in the afternoon and we're just gonna head down another way around, making the loop. On the way up it took us 3 hours, so hopefully on the way down it's gonna take us less. As you saw, some people are getting to the peak just by now. We have an unknown path ahead of us, so hopefully it won't be too hard of a descent and we'll be back before the darkness. So let's go! So first we thought that the path on the way down will be following that ridge and from there down, but now we see that it's going more like this through the valley. So till here we pretty much follow the same path as on the way up, but from here the path goes more on the right and then through the valley down. Here on the left you can see the ridgeline, how we ascended up, and now we're following totally different path around this other peak and on the way down through the valley. Now we're about 15 minutes into descent and I can still see the cross on the top. And as we're descending it's getting much warmer, so we're putting the cloth off because there is much less wind in the valley here. And when I zoomed in to the peak one more time, I couldn't believe my eyes. That was the guy from the Swedish couple that we met earlier in the hike. They were so far behind us that I thought they just turned back, but as you can see they made it on the top, but they'll definitely not make it back before the darkness. So as I said before, there are many more hiking options here. You can do more loops and hikes through these hills that you can see in the front. Same as with Sierra Nevada, it would be definitely great to come back here and maybe do some multi-day hikes with the quad camping. As I'm zooming up, I see that the Swedish couple are still up there and hopefully they don't follow us but go back the same way, but it seems like they've lost the path now. So here I'm zooming again, trying to find the Swedish couple who started descending down the same way as us, but now I guess they found the right path because I don't see them anymore. Probably got the last view of Cielo where we've been about half an hour ago, and I don't see the Swedish couple anymore either. And here you can see one more time how we're ascending up on the ridge over here and behind these peaks over here until the top of Cerro del Cielo. As you can see, we still have quite a lot of steep descent until the bigger road down there, so similar as the other side, it's quite steep, and from there it should be mostly flat until the car park. can see it's getting later, the sun is going down, and over there it's already shadows, so it will get much colder than here on the sun. So we're just looking at the GPS navigation, and we have over 600 meters of elevation descent, so it's more than half than what we did till now. And we have about 5 kilometers to go, but as I said before, the most of the elevation will be till the bigger road down there, and from there it should be mostly flat or little elevation, so it will get faster. It's already 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and the path is very steep and curvy, similar as the other side. We have about 1 hour till the sunset at 6 p.m. and then we have another hour till the total darkness at 7 p.m. So hopefully we can make it till the car park till then. According to the GPS, we have another kilometer of steep descent until that bigger road. It's been already a lot of elevation today, so both of our legs are hurting, especially Sanya's knees really start hurting after so much steep elevation. So we have to take more breaks because it's really hard on the knees and feet to go down such a steep hill. And we know that anything over 1000 meters of elevation will be pretty hard hike. But we're glad that we made it up. So looking at the GPS maps, we see that there are more hiking options, starting from the bigger road down there, going on the ridge, and also through the valley up here. And you can also do more loops and hikes over here. Alright, so we descended all the way down to the valley, and there should be some more hiking paths here, but we don't see any, so they're probably outdated on maps.me. We also see some little cave by the side of the path. Right, and in few hundred meters of going through these bushes, we connected to this bigger path, and it keeps going also here on the right, where you can do another hiking loop according to the Wikilog. So as I said before, there are more hiking possibilities in Sierra Tejeda mountains, so it'll be definitely great to come back here and do some multiple day hikes. And here we discovered another small cave, so I guess a long time ago there used to be a river flowing through here that over time made these holes in the rock. You can see the sunset at the Pico del Cielo, where we've been just a few hours ago. It's about 800 meters elevation from here, so it's incredible to think that we've been there. And here we finally connected to this bigger crossroad that I was mentioning. So there is one path connecting back to the path we've been going before, and there is two bigger roads, one going left and one going right, but we thought it's about the same distance, so we chose the one on the right as we thought we would get a better view. who would have thought we would see the sunshine again, but here we are. As with other hikes, we see the sunset one more time. It was amazing. And here we see that there is a little spring with drinking water, so we're gonna fill our bottles because we drank everything. On the other side we can see a slope with cut down trees, so I'm not sure why they did this. So we see over here that people who we are following on Wikilog went more around with this bigger road through the hills around. Would be another 3-4 kilometers, probably with a lot of elevation too, so we just decided to descend down here with this path connecting to the other bigger road, making a shortcut. But to be honest, if we were to choose again between the bigger road on the left or right, we would just choose the one on the left, because here we had to go 100 meters down and 100 meters up of elevation, which took us a lot of time. And here we arrived at this parking spot where you can park your car if you want to do the loop the other way. But we still have another 2 kilometers and 200 meters descent to the place where we parked the car. It should take us about 20 minutes on this bigger road. So now it's 6:15, so we should be there before the total darkness for sure. Guys, we're almost there, have less than 1 kilometer to go. So this was definitely the hardest hike we did. Took us around 6.5 hours total with the lunchtime, with about 1,200 meters of elevation and about 15 kilometers of distance. So we have 2 more adventurous hikes in Andalusia before we leave Spain altogether. So stay tuned for those videos, and as always, stay healthy and stay adventurous.